Alright, so the deployment is complete. Let's click on this Go to Resource button and take a look at the options we have here. Now, this Kubernetes cluster has a server address, which is specified in the top right hand side, and the name is web app-cluster-DNS followed by its own suffix. Okay, so as deployed in Northern Europe, if you go ahead and click on Node Pools, you will see that I've got a cluster of 3 nodes that we use to deploy this Kubernetes service. Now, if I click on these 3 nodes further, you will have the options to scale it further. Now, at this point, I've got the scaling set to manually, but you can always set this to automatic or auto scale. So when it auto scales and creates new instances, it's going to create new nodes of the same specifications as we selected earlier. I'm going to click on cancel, talk about upgrade. So when we are creating the Kubernetes cluster, at that point in time, we selected 1.16, but there was a newer version available as well. So if Microsoft sends you an email stating that the bugs in the Kubernetes clusters have been fixed, new features have been released, here is where you can come and upgrade your cluster. We already spoke about scaling when you're talking about node pools, so let's jump to networking section. And what we see here is that when we were creating the Kubernetes cluster, we selected the custom network. So this is deployed in our own network. This gives you an advantage here because you can now connect this Kubernetes cluster or your web application hosted on the nodes to your on-premise network. So if you got a point-to-site connectivity or a VPN or express route connections, these applications will be able to communicate directly with your intranet services. Okay, if you have implemented the concept of DevOps, integrating with dev spaces has become much easier. You can do monitoring with Helm 3. So as you see, there are a lot of integration tools that are available, and it will let you integrate with other Microsoft tool called as dev spaces. You will find the next option very interesting, but it's currently in preview. So let's say you've got your application hosted somewhere externally on a third-party repository, like let's say GitHub, Bitbucket, or your own external Git. Then you can integrate your web app with GitHub directly. So your CI/CD pipeline can run through the GitHub, and anything that's hosted on the GitHub or let's say Bitbucket will be pushed to your web app, and that will be hosted as a web application. Right? And you got the monitoring options like insights, metrics, advisor recommendation, logs, and workbooks. So let's go ahead and host a web application there with the help of CLI. So in the next lesson, what I'm going to do is launch the Azure CLI and start running few commands to deploy a sample web application. What I'm going to do is use the quick start option guide available here. So if you navigate to this URL, docs.microsoft.com/azure/aks, and this URL that you see, you will see that there is a quick start lab document available for you. So what I'm going to do next is pick up this particular YAML file and show you how you can deploy this YAML file as a web application so that you will see something like this. So you will navigate to http:// the public IP, and then you will connect to the web application. All right, let's get started with that now.